This is really very significant program and important step that you've taken. Alhamdulillah, we are so proud of what the Muslim community has done in terms of establishing masajid up and down the country. I mean, there are no shortage of masajids. I think there is a shortage of capacity, and that's something that this initiative is going to take forward, inshallah. And what we hope to be able to share with you is some of the things that we've done. Hopefully some of those things are going to be of help to you, and we will learn from others as well, inshallah. I was asked to say a few things about my personal journey and to talk about management in particular, but I will try to set some context as to some of the other works that we have done. So if you look up at the very top corner, my journey started with the mosque when it was in that stage. It was a porter cabin in East London. Yeah, I started a bit later than that, in about 82, 83. I'd love to be able to say that I was responsible for everything that happened after that, but obviously I can't. It is a very, very concerted effort by very many people, alhamdulillah. It's a very collective effort. And really the management, the volunteers, the community, everybody has contributed so hugely to the development of what's happened in East London Mosque. 1985, the mosque, the purpose-built mosque was established. And I think one of the things that needs to be said is the people who were involved at that time were really very visionary. And I think they were very inclusive, they're very encouraging. They encouraged us to get involved. That's why when we were in our teens, we were able to get involved even at a management level. And they made sure that it was a center and a mosque that was fit for purpose and that was welcoming and inclusive of everybody. As we know that women don't have very much place in masajids now, and very little space and other facilities and so on. So I think even at that early stage, in the late 70s, the brothers and sisters at the time made sure that there was space and welcoming environment for the sisters and for youth in particular. 2004, we developed the London Muslim Center. Alhamdulillah, it gave us a lot more capacity. At that time, we were running out of space. People were actually literally praying in the pavements and so on. It was getting a kind of health and safety issue. 2013, Mariam Center was established. Now, alhamdulillah, this, again, sisters really needed space. So in the month of Ramadan, we would get far too many sisters coming in for Taraweeh, and there would be enough space, even in the London Muslim Center. The Mariam Center, alhamdulillah, is a dedicated building for sisters, for their services, ranging right from the gymnasium to tarbiyah programs to social events and so on and so forth. So alhamdulillah, but we do recognize there is a need for greater capacity and utilization of such a center, and I hope, inshallah, we can move towards that. I cannot give you all of the activities that happen. Already Abul Kalam mentioned some of the things that we do here, but I'd like to just go through some of the photos, and you can see the range of activities. It is a very, alhamdulillah, very vibrant place. A lot of people are there. A lot of the time, it is very accessible to everybody. Just to give you a range of the other kind of activities in addition to the normal prayer and tarbiyah programs that we do that goes on here. You'll recognize some of the people who are on these photographs. And these are events that are happening on a kind of regular basis from before, now, and so on and so forth. This one was to do with the Archives project, which is a unique project, I think, amongst the masajid. We have a history of over 100 years, and alhamdulillah, we have the Archives project. That photo you just seen in the video before, we were getting involved with other things. But here you can see, open days, charity runs, engaging the youth, engaging women, doing all kinds of activities, whether it's fundraising or it's about awareness, it's about promoting Islam and promoting community cohesion and so on and so forth. Here's a bit more about community cohesion. Picture at the very left bottom corner is a TV documentary that was done on the East London Mosque, which perhaps some of you saw about our activities and so on and so forth. And here's a bit of the challenge that we face. You can see East London Mosque needs to be closed, according to some people. So these are our normal detractors, and this is just one of the many challenges that we grapple with. So to come back to some of the things that I really want to say, and I hope some of these things will be useful for some of the masajids. Alhamdulillah, in terms of achievements, so it is a very large complex, and it does accommodate over 6,000 people on a Friday, or during Ramadan, it's even more than that. And the fundraising that has taken place, raising of millions of pounds, particularly from the community, and really community coming forward, opening up their pockets and giving so very generously is a huge thing for getting this. Really, subhanAllah, is that how it's been? Okay, so very many services. As I say, it's a hub for the community, important landmark in London. Some of the factors, as I've said, that it is to do with really having a common purpose, having internal stability and harmony that is really important. I mean, in many places you do see the disharmony amongst the leaders and so on and so forth. A very dedicated base of volunteers and staff, involved with sincere people, planning ahead, being creative, utilizing the expertise that people have around you within the community and also within the people who are actually involved. Just to go back, reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I mean, when we started the London Muslim Centre, we didn't have very much money, but we were embarking on a £9 million project. Subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is the case with most of the masajids, alhamdulillah. People take initiative and it happens. So in terms of the board of trustees, in terms of the management, I mean, this is really very important. Having the right people in the management is really very important. And what I've tried to say here is that, alhamdulillah, we've been very lucky to have qualified people, capable people who are really dedicated and sincere, alhamdulillah, and they bring in from their expertise elsewhere into the running of the mosque. Training and understanding of the roles of the trustees is really very, very important, and more time needs to be dedicated to that. Really being engaged with the activities of the mosques and adding value. There's no point being in a board if you don't really have much to contribute. You have to add value to the work of the trust. Being prepared for meetings, so it's not enough to just turn up for meetings and not know what's going on. It's very inefficient. We try to make sure that we are very savvy with new technology and make sure all the kind of papers and presentations are sent out in advance so people can really prepare, because management needs to come and make decisions and not just sit there and talk about all kinds of issues and so on. It's important for those who are in the management to be analytical, critical, constructive, really be there to solve problems rather than just be there. So you've got to bring stuff in and look at issues that are happening and provide solutions to that. We have in the past been more involved with operational matters, more and more now, because it's such a big place. We have a very large staffing base. Over £1 million is the operational cost. 1.7 footfall, a year, over 30,000. So much is happening. There is a need to have good staffing. And so there's a much more of a demarcation now between what the operation is with the staff and what the management should really do, which is strategic and about governance. I think that's about it. I mean, some of the challenges, I've mentioned these. I mean, security is one of those challenges for us. But in particular, what I've said is that improving the capacity, being fit for purpose, delivering the right type of activities. So the mosque and the center should really be the hub of the community. The community should really come here not for prayer, but for engaging, for socializing, for learning from one another, and so on and so forth. And I hope, inshallah, centers like this and other centers across the country will have mechanisms for sharing good practice, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum.